Well, welcome back to Success Mashup Radio, and I've got Jeffrey Braun, owner and furniture designer with Jeffrey Braun Furniture. And Jeffrey Braun, he's been designing furniture for 15, I think over about 15 years.
Yeah, about a dozen years.
Okay, about a dozen years. And he's got projects all over the country, including high-end hotels like the Four Seasons, executive offices and lobbies at companies like NBC Universal, Paramount Pictures, and a variety of sports arenas, senior living communities, and shopping malls. And it sounds like things are really growing. They're going to be ramping up as we continue to go through 2013. Lots of pretty cool stuff here, and it sounds like you kind of made a transition from residential to more commercial. Kind of tell me, I guess before we get into that, Jeff, kind of tell me what got you into designing furniture to begin with, and how did you get started doing this? And
well, I tell you, I never knew that that's what I would be doing, to be honest with you. I got my start in the film industry in Chicago, and I was a set designer and art director. I had originally thought that I was going to be a cinematographer, and I'd be accepting awards like the people were last night at the Academy Awards. But that really sort of cut my teeth. The projects were very quick. We had very, very tight timelines. Projects would go from concept to installation to strike down in a matter of days and sometimes weeks. And so I got a really good feel of what I was capable of. In your last segment, you talked a lot about relationships, and that's what a great deal of what went into that type of work. Everything was based on the relationships that I had, my sources, and that would enable me to get things done. But it was very impermanent, and everything was experienced two-dimensionally. Everything was on a TV screen or a movie screen, and the experiential aspect of design was what really drew me in. And so I wanted to be able to build and be involved in three-dimensional landscapes, so to speak, lobbies and hotel rooms and things like that, where you're moving through a space and not just experience it from the camera's point of view. So I went back to school, and I eventually graduated from the Cornish College of the Arts here in Seattle. And at that time, I started my own small design firm, and I got presented with an opportunity to do a lot of residential custom furniture projects, and that's where I got a chance to do. I looked at it like sculpture, really, where you're looking at things in 3 dimensions all the way around. So you weren't just sitting on a piece of furniture; you were looking at it from all different angles, and then actually using it. And so it was like usable sculpture to me, and that's how I got my start. And then you mentioned, how we took this. We pivoted there right before the fallout of the economy crashing, and we kind of examined at one point how much time we were spending on each order. And this was right after we had done some installations here in Seattle area and a couple of hotels. And we realized that, we've got, say we had 20 residential orders in, and that meant 20 pieces of furniture, maybe 30 pieces of furniture through 20 orders. And if we had 20 orders of furniture in on the commercial side, we'd have hundreds of pieces of furniture in. And so our economies of scale grew, and obviously our profits at that point. And so we made that switch. And at that same time, we had been analyzing our manufacturing facility, and as the scale of our projects grew, we outgrew that facility. And so we partnered with another factory down in Los Angeles that had the much greater capabilities, much larger facility, and that's where we are now. And it's been, I won't say a smooth ride. There have been some bumps in the road for sure, but we're very happy with where we are right now. And you mentioned how things are growing, and we doubled our sales in 2011 from 10 to 11, and then again from 11 to 12, and that's our goal again this year, is to double them again. So we feel like we're in a really good spot.
Very cool, very cool. And it sounds like you got definitely some pretty cool projects coming your way and in the middle of right now. You were telling me before the show. And so, like, for your typical clients, what are the biggest challenges that some of these hotels and assisted living facilities face when it comes to deciding on what kind of furniture to either, if it's a remodel or if it's just a new construction? What kind of challenges these guys? It must be tough to try to figure out. It's a big.
Well, I think for a lot of businesses right now, a lot of things boil down to price. And that, which is fine. I mean, we offer a great product, and what differentiates us is that you're not just buying cookie cutter products. You're able to tweak our products, customize them so it fits their particular needs. So if you're coming to me and you need furniture for an assisted living project, well, a lot of our seat depths right now are a little bit too deep for people to get up and out of, or our seat height might be too low. So we change things for them so that our foam is a little firmer. The seat depths aren't quite as deep. They're a little bit more shallow, and they're a little higher, so it makes things easier to get in and out of. We make sure that most pieces have arms on them so that people that can help them get themselves up out of chairs. That's a for instance in terms of assisted living. If we're doing lobbies, I like to not have any arms at all because a lot of people like to sit on chairs differently. You know, like to cross their legs, like to put their arm over the backs of chairs and things like that, so that it becomes a more versatile piece of furniture within the greater scheme of the lobby rather than being dictated how it's used. And so those are a couple instances of like how we work with our clients to come up with solutions for their particular, situation. And it's not just me. I'm working with the client, which is, say, the hotel owner, but then I'm also working with a designer who's coming up with an entire look for a lobby or a room or a suite. And so it boils down to communication.
Okay. So basically, so walk me through the process that you go through when designing a furniture from that kind of, like maybe step one to somebody. So it sounds like you work usually with the interior designer, not directly with the business, but maybe sometimes. I mean, how does the process go from and then?
More than that, it's with a designer or an architect.
Okay.
There's usually an intermediary between ourselves and the client, and certainly between us and the end user. So what transpires is that they'll come to us and they'll have done some charretting. They'll have done some imaging and come up with a concept of what they're trying to achieve. And then they shoot that to us, usually via email, and they want pricing. So we'll come up with pricing based on what they've shown us. But then also, I sort of interject what, may or may not be working with what they've selected. There might be something with sharp corners, or there might be something with a glass top, or there might be something like we talked about where they've specified something without arms and they should have arms. And so then, we use our experience in all the projects that we've had in the past to help them make educated decisions for their projects so that they're not coming back to us in a few years saying, we need to reupholster this, or we need to, reevaluate how this is used because what we'd initially chosen isn't working any longer. That's kind of how we're used. And then from there, it's a back and forth. And so then we're constantly honing, the concept and then the end concept that we eventually go with.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. All right. So, tell me, I guess you talked a little about how was your business affected by the economy? Now, you've talked a little about different types of businesses you work with. Maybe you can expand on that a little bit, but also a little bit about how you guys have been affected by the economy and kind of how you weathered the storm.
Sure. I think one of the more critical areas that it affected us was right before the fallout. We were doing a lot of model homes. I think, fully more than 30% of our business was from staging and doing model homes, spec homes, and things of that nature. And then when the bottom fell out of the economy, that dried up overnight. And so we were left with a large hole in our revenue stream. And so we had to really evaluate where we were going to focus all of our energies. And, you talked a lot about in your previous segment about returning on your investment. And if we're able to sell multiples, then that's a big return on our investment. And so we really went after that commercial market at that point. That was our major shift for us, in terms of, strategy.
Gotcha. Okay, very cool. All right. So tell me now, how does somebody get a hold of you if they'd like to, if they've got a hotel, they've got an assisted living, if they've got anything? I mean, it sounds like, how does somebody get a hold of you if they want to learn more about your design?
The best way initially is to go ahead and go to our website. We've got a great website. My wife has been, laboriously, working on this, and we've got a blog on there. You can sign up for an email letter, and that way you get a chance to see some of our philosophies, but you also get a chance to see all of our design work, some installation shots, and then everybody, our email addresses are on there also.
Okay. Very cool. So it's jeffreybraun.com, right?
That's
so
correct.
JEFFREYBRAUN.com.
Yes.
Okay. Very cool. All right, Jeff, I appreciate it. Thanks for spending the time with us. And hopefully, if you're interested and if you want some high-end, very good-looking, customized furniture for your business, then I would definitely go check it out, jeffreybraun.com, and get a hold of Jeff or your wife, Lindsay, it sounds like. And all right, we're going to be back here in about a minute with a marketing minute with Success Mashup Radio.